Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and this looks terrible. Wow, what a mess. This is not what it was supposed to look like. I'm really sorry. Just let me, I'll fix that, hold on. Wow, okay. Whew, thank goodness we fixed that. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today we are going to be talking about how to improve your video without buying a new camera. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So today I'm going to be showing you how to go from this to this. Way better. All right, let's go back and figure it out. So first off, let's fix what's going on right here, and I'll just, that's heaps better. All right, so there's obviously a lot we have to do to make this look better. Let's tackle the camera settings first, because look at that, it's losing focus, it's really struggling, and part of that is because there's so much going on behind me, and also because of this darkness on my face, but there's a lot we have to fix. So the first thing I think we should do is look at the aperture being too big. It's currently, I think, at f5, which means that it's a lot wider, a lot more is in focus, and you can see a lot more of that clutter in the background. Okay, so we opened it up to f2.8, but now it's too bright, so we need to adjust the ISO to compensate, which is actually good. Okay, so we brought that back down to a reasonable level with ISO. Now, the ISO is like the digital gain that you add. So it's adding artificial brightness to the image, and the more you do that, the more you get that grain. So you want to have that as low as possible. Right now I'm on 800. Once we start adding lights, we can bring that down even further to say 400 or something like that. Before we start adding lights though, I think I'm going to take care of this background because it's still too messy, even with that depth of field change. I mean, it's not that far back there, so yeah, we have to fix this background. Okay, so straight away that is looking a lot better. We don't have all of that annoying mess behind me. As you can see by it losing focus, it is definitely still too dark. So now's the time that we bring in our lighting, and there goes the focus again. One thing that you really need to realize is if your camera is struggling with focus, bringing up the light is actually going to help your camera focus better. So if you think the autofocus on your camera isn't good enough, like this, it might actually just be because it's too dark. So you can fix that. You can fix your camera focus essentially with better lighting. Boom! Okay, that's a little bit too bright now, but that's good because we still want to bring that ISO down a little bit more. All right, that is looking a lot better, and also the camera is going to focus a lot better. So we fixed that problem by bringing in some lights, and it looks so much better. But wait, we are not done, not even close. We've got so many more lights to bring in. Let's make it happen. All right, so I've set up that light now, but before we turn it on, we are gonna switch our audio from on-camera audio to this microphone right here. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Hopefully that sounds a lot better. It should, because this is an XLR mic, but mostly because this is much closer to me. It was way closer than the on-camera mic. Even though that on-camera mic isn't that far away, it's about, I'd say, a meter away from me, this is 30 centimeters. You don't have to have an amazing microphone. You just need to get it as close to the subject as possible. For me, it works having it in the frame. It sort of adds a little bit of an extra dynamic. You might want to hide a lapel, or you can put it just above the frame, a little mic on a boom stand, something like that. These are all things you can definitely do on a budget. All right, so now that we've talked about that, let's turn this light on and see how it looks. Okay, so that's an improvement, but it's kind of, you've got white light on me, you've got white light on the background. It's definitely better because it makes the background more interesting than just black. But here's where we get into the interesting part of making your video look better. You want to create contrast between the subject and the background. You can do that with the blur, with your depth of field, making sure your aperture is wide open. The smaller the number, the better. Probably around f2.8 is a good number. If you can get to f4 as well, if your lens only goes that low, that's still good. You want to separate your subject from the background. That is another thing to note, is you want your subject to be what the eye is drawn to in the frame, and it helps a lot if your subject is the brightest part of the frame. Let's look at some photo examples. So just hit pause or go back and just have a look and read the notes and see what is working and what isn't working. And I'm the first to admit there's always room for improvement. So right now I'm the brightest part, but the background is probably a little bit bright. Another way we can create that contrast is with changing the color of the lights. So if you look at a color wheel, you've got blue and orange, and they're on the opposite sides of the color wheel. Let me put that remote down. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add some blue light to that backdrop light, and I'm gonna probably add some orange light to this light in front of me, the key light, so that we get that nice contrast between the two. So I'll do that and then we'll be right back. All right, so we've made those changes. Hopefully you think it looks better. I think it does. We've got a bit more orange light on me, blue light on the background, which creates that nice contrast and really separates me from the background. So we're getting close to the end of the things we can do to make this look better. So I've got a key light and a background light. There's also a window light here, which I could potentially remove. I like how that's kind of working, and it's a bit more shadowy on this side of the face, but we can add some more lights to improve how this all looks. So let's do that and we'll be right back. And so I think that finally does it. So I've added a light just directly behind me, sort of straight down below. So you can sort of see that coming through just here. It just creates a little bit more separation from the background on certain angles. Then up the top, we've got a hair light, which you can see just on top of my head and on top of my shoulders here. That's just creating that little bit of separation from the background, which just really, I guess, makes me pop out of the frame more. And yeah, it just makes the whole thing look better. It's making that contrast between the subject and the background. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Obviously this is being color graded as well. So I guess if we take that off and then put that back on, you can see there's been that color grade as well. So don't forget that step in your process for editing. So that's pretty much it. That's how you make your video look tons better without buying a new camera. So just keep that in mind. If you're spending money on gear, if you have a budget and you're like, oh yes, like, I don't know, maybe you've got $3 grand, that's a fair bit to spend, but you're like, yes, I can afford, you know, a $3,000 camera body and maybe with a kit lens or something like that. Stop. No, don't do it. Don't just spend all your money on the camera, or if you have more money to spend, don't upgrade to a new camera. Obviously in some situations it might be a smart choice to upgrade, but don't just look at everyone else's cameras and be like, oh, if I had a camera like that, my video would be better. As you saw in this video at the start, it looked really, really bad, and now it looks a lot better. Honestly, if you put any camera, I mean, obviously besides like cinema cameras and red cameras and all that kind of thing, if you put, you know, a camera that was 3 times, 4 times, 5 times more than this camera in the same situation it had at the start, and that kind of lighting, no lighting, bad settings, you didn't have the settings quite right. You compare that to now with a decent sort of, I would say this camera is more of a budget camera. It's a Panasonic G8 V, fairly affordable as far as cameras go. The moral of the story, don't spend all your money on the camera. There's so many things you should think about spending your money on, your budget on. The camera is the last thing you should be worrying about upgrading. Think about lighting first. Think about maybe a better lens. Maybe that would be what you need if you've just got a really basic kit lens. Lenses can make a huge difference to the quality of the video. Backdrops are super affordable. You can find them pretty much anywhere. You could even just buy some black cloth or whatever color cloth you want to use as a backdrop. Super affordable. Backgrounds and what is behind you in the video, whatever it is, it's important to have it not too cluttered, but also a little bit interesting. You just don't want it straight black if that's what you're putting up. You can also think about tripods, gimbals, sound equipment. There's so many things that you can have a look at spending your budget on to improve your video before you go and upgrade your camera. Because if you're not getting a good result out of your camera now, there's a good chance that when you upgrade, sure, it will make it a little bit easier for you to get a good result, but it probably won't be as good as it could be if you just work on your creativity and other things to help improve the shot and improve the overall quality of the video. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did like it, make sure you leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely subscribe and hit notifications. I would love to see you in the next video, especially at this time with isolation and everything going on. A lot of people are stuck at home. I have some photo challenges coming soon, so definitely stick around if you want to see more. I would love to see you again soon. All right, that's it for me. I'll catch you in the next video.